Hey everyone! Today, I'm diving into the fascinating history of the Alans, an ancient nomadic group that roamed the North Caucasus and beyond. The Alans, often considered part of the Sarmatians, were related to the Masajti and are believed to have connections with the Central Asian Yankai and the Aorsi from Roman records. Originally settling north of the Black Sea, the Alans became well known to the Romans in the 1st century CE. They were a formidable presence, frequently raiding both the Parthian Empire and the Roman provinces in the Caucasus. However, their power was significantly challenged by the Goths between 215 and 250 CE. Around 375 CE, the Alans experienced another major upheaval when the Huns defeated the Goths on the Pontic steppe. This led many Alans to migrate westward along with Germanic tribes. They crossed the Rhine in 406 CE, settled in regions like Orléans and Valence, and later joined the Vandals and Suebi in moving into the Iberian Peninsula. In the Iberian Peninsula, the Alans faced defeat by the Visigoths in 418 CE and eventually submitted to the Hastingi Vandals. By 428 CE, the Vandals and Alans had moved across the Strait of Gibraltar into North Africa, where they established a kingdom that lasted until the Byzantine conquest in 534 CE. Meanwhile, those Alans who stayed in the North Caucasus under Hunnic rule established the Kingdom of Alania in the 9th century, which thrived until the Mongol invasions of the 13th century. Many modern Ossetian scholars see these Alans as the ancestors of today's Ossetians. The Alans spoke an Eastern Iranian language derived from Scytho-Sarmatian, evolving into what is now known as the Ossetian language. The name Alan itself is an Eastern Iranian form of the Old Iranian term for Aryan. Throughout history, the Alans were known by various names depending on the region and language, such as Alani in Latin, Alanoi in Greek, and in Chinese. They were also linked to several other ethnonyms like the Roxolani and Alanarsoi, which highlight their diverse and widespread influence. And the Alans emerged from the blending of the Masajti, a nomadic Iranian people from Central Asia, with various older tribal groups. They were related to the Asai, who had invaded Bactria in the 2nd century BCE. Eventually, the Alans were pushed westward by the Kangchu people, known to Greek and Roman authors as the Axerte, who lived in the Sir-Daria basin and expanded their territory from Fergana to the Aral Sea region. By the 1st century, the Alans had migrated west from Central Asia and established dominance among the Sarmatians living between the Don River and the Caspian Sea. This period saw them mentioned in various sources across the Mediterranean, Middle East, and China. For instance, Valigas's I, the Parthian king, fought against Kuluk, king of the Alani, around 62 CE. The Jewish historian Josephus also mentioned the Alans in his works. He described them as a Scythian tribe living near the Sea of Azov, who crossed the Iron Gates around 72 CE to plunder Media and Armenia. The Alans defeated the armies of Pacorus, king of Media, and Tiridates, king of Armenia, both brothers of Valigas's I. They carried out extensive raids, capturing large amounts of booty and causing significant disruption before retreating to their homeland. The fact that the Alans invaded Parthia through Hyrcania indicates that many of them were still based northeast of the Caspian Sea at the time. By the early 2nd century CE, they controlled the lower Volga and Kuban regions, which had previously been inhabited by the Aorsi and the Syrices. These tribes seem to have been absorbed or displaced by the Alans, as they are no longer mentioned in historical accounts from that period. In 135 CE, the Alans launched a significant raid into Asia Minor via the Caucasus, devastating Media and Armenia. They were eventually repelled by Arrian, the governor of Cappadocia, who documented the encounter in his report, Ektaxis Kata Alanu, or War Against the Alans. From 215 to 250 CE, the Goths expanded southeast and disrupted the Alans' dominance on the Pontic steppe. Despite this, the Alans had a notable influence on the Goths, who adopted their horsemanship skills and animal-style art. As the Goths moved into the steppe, many Alans retreated eastward toward the Don River, establishing contacts with the Huns. The Roman historian Ammianus Marcellinus noted that the Alans were similar to the Huns but less savage in their lifestyle and habits. Another historian, Jordanes, also mentioned that while the Alans were equals to the Huns in battle, they differed significantly in civilization, manners, and appearance. By the late 4th century, Roman military treatises sometimes conflated Alans and Huns, referring to them as a single group. Despite this, it is clear that the Alans maintained a distinct identity, being described by some sources as descendants of the Masashti and connected to various Iranian peoples, including Sarmatians, Masashti, and Sakas. Scholars have also linked the Alans to the Yankai mentioned in Chinese sources, indicating their broad geographic influence and the complexity of their identity. After their interactions with the Huns and their involvement in the battles against the Goths, the Alans found themselves migrating westward alongside other Sarmatian groups around 370 CE. This period marked a turbulent shift as they navigated alliances and conflicts amidst the declining Roman Empire. One notable group of Alans fought alongside the Goths in the pivotal Battle of Adrianople in 378 CE, a clash that saw the Roman Emperor Valens fall. As Roman authority waned, the Alans splintered into factions aligning with different powers, some supporting the Romans, while others joined the ranks of the Huns, Visigoths, or Ostrogoths. A significant chapter in Alan history unfolded when a faction joined forces with the Vandals and Suebi during the invasion of Roman Gaul. According to Gregory of Tours, King Respendiel of the Alans played a crucial role in aiding the Vandals during their crossing of the Rhine in 406 CE, a strategic move that shifted the balance of power in the region. Around the same time, another group of Alans led by Gore crossed the Rhine but instead allied with the Romans. They settled in the region of Orléans, a move orchestrated by the Roman commander Aetius to bolster defenses against the Visigoths and maintain control over Armorica. Under Gore's leadership, the Alans forged alliances with other Germanic tribes like the Burgundians and played a key role in the political upheavals of the time. They supported the usurper Emperor Jovinus, and later under Sangiban, they stood firm against the invasion of Attila the Hun at the Battle of Chalon in 451 CE, a pivotal moment in European history. In subsequent years, the Alans continued to assert their military prowess, defeating the Goths in battles and repelling Frankish incursions. Their strategic importance was evident when they clashed with Clovis I of the Franks around 502 to 503 CE, where despite initial setbacks, they ultimately negotiated a treaty that integrated their military strength into the Merovingian forces. This period also saw the Alans embracing Chalcedonian Christianity, aligning them with Clovis against the Arian Visigoths who sought dominance north of the Loire. This strategic realignment secured their position in the evolving political landscape of post-Roman Gaul. So, the Alans' journey from their eastern origins to the heart of Western Europe shaped not only their own destiny but also influenced the course of European history during the tumultuous centuries following the collapse of the Roman Empire. Following their migration alongside the Vandals and Suebi into the Iberian Peninsula in 409 CE, the Alans, under the leadership of Respendiel, settled in the provinces of Lusitania and Carthaginensis. This marked the establishment of one of the earliest barbarian kingdoms in the region. Alongside them, the Sealing Vandals occupied Baetica, the Suebi settled in coastal Galatia, and the Asding Vandals took control of the rest of Galatia. Despite their newfound kingdoms, these groups constituted a minority among the Hispano-Roman population, numbering around 200,000 out of approximately 6 million inhabitants. In 418 CE, during conflicts with the Visigoths, the Alan king Aetaces was killed in battle, leading to the dissolution of his branch of the Alans. The surviving Alans then merged with the Asding Vandal kingdom under King Gunderic. Although some Alans remained in Iberia, the majority accompanied the Vandals to North Africa in 429 CE. In North Africa, the Vandals, now ruling over a diverse population, adopted the title Rex Vandalorum et Alanorum, means King of the Vandals and Alans. The legacy of the Alans in the Iberian Peninsula endured through various cultural contributions. They settled primarily in Lusitania, modern Alentejo, and the Carthaginense provinces, where they became renowned for their large mastiff-type dogs known as Alans. These dogs were used extensively for hunting and warfare and are credited with influencing the development of several European dog breeds. The name, Alano, persists in Spain, where a breed of dog still carries on their lineage, traditionally employed in tasks like boar hunting and cattle herding. The presence of the Alans is also evident in historical remnants scattered across Portugal. Places like Alenquer, possibly derived from Allen Kirk, meaning Temple of the Alans, bear traces of their settlement. The Alans are credited with constructing or influencing the construction of castles in Torres Vedras and Almoral, as well as contributing to the city walls of Lisbon, where archaeological findings hint at their earlier presence beneath the foundations of the Church of Santa Lucia. Thus, the Alans' journey from their origins in the steppes of Central Asia to their settlements in Hispania and North Africa left a lasting imprint on European history, culture, and even the development of canine breeds, showcasing their enduring influence amidst the shifting tides of the late Roman Empire and beyond. And the Alans who remained in their ancestral lands north of the Caucasus and east of the Caspian Sea faced centuries of turbulent interactions with neighboring peoples like the Bulgars, Gokturks, and Khazars. These encounters often resulted in conflicts that pushed many Alans from the open plains into the protective confines of the mountainous regions. In the early 10th century, the Caucasian Alans underwent a significant religious transformation, converting to Byzantine Orthodoxy under the Patriarchate of Nicholas I Mystikos. This conversion marked a cultural shift that aligned them with the Byzantine Empire and its Christian traditions. Despite a brief apostasy in 932, the Alans maintained their Byzantine Rite Christian identity throughout the subsequent centuries. The geographic and cultural landscape of the Alans evolved further as they became ancestors to the modern Ossetians. Their ethnonym derives from the name Aes, likely representing an ancient tribe closely related to the Alans. Over time, the Ossetians differentiated into two major dialect groups, Digor in western North Ossetia, and Iron in the rest of Ossetia. The region around Mount Elbrus, known as Assi in Ossetian, likely reflects their historical homeland. During the tumultuous medieval period, some Alans remained under the rule of the Huns while others, dispersed across the steppes, eventually found refuge in the Caucasus due to pressure from the Mongol invasions. These events culminated in the formation of the Christian kingdom of Alania between the 9th and 12th centuries, a pivotal moment in their history. Under Mongol rule in the 13th century, many Alans integrated into the Mongol Empire, participating in military campaigns across Europe and even as far as southern China. Notably, a contingent of Alans served as the Royal Guard, Osud, at the Yuan court in Dadu, modern-day Beijing, highlighting their strategic importance within the Mongol hierarchy. By the late medieval period, the Alans had established themselves as a distinctive presence within diverse cultural and political landscapes. Their enduring legacy persisted through their contributions to Mongol military prowess and their adaptation to Byzantine Christianity, marking them as a resilient and influential people amidst the ever-changing tides of Eurasian history.